to my bedroom. I've got blankies and little coities.
Sorry for the weird intros. Okay, hi guys. Welcome to my corner of the world, aka my bedroom, where we talk about life and we live it together. Okay, apparently I am very hyper today. Okay, today's video is much different than my other ones because I was thinking, what would be my next video? What kind of content should I put out? And I really started to think, how funny would it be to go over Eden's most embarrassing worship moment? I seriously thought this video would be hilarious to reminisce about all of the mistakes I've made, all of the extremely embarrassing moments I've had in my career of leading worship, and you guys know how much I love relativity and relating to people and being like, yeah, I'm not perfect either. I wanted the scene to be a little more comfy because we're talking about real life and real embarrassing moments, and let's be honest, we've all had those in whatever kind of field we work in or whatever we do in life. So I literally didn't change out of my pajamas. I just wanted to get real with you guys, bring you into my bedroom. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but just bring you into a comfy setting like we're having a conversation because we're getting real today. So here we go. My most embarrassing worship moments of all time. Okay, so my first story is when I was like 8 years old. I honestly didn't learn how to harmonize until I was like literally in college. So when I was 8, I honestly started singing probably that young in my church because it was a small church and we had a ton of opportunity to like be in plays and like do musicals and actually like serve and lead worship. So at like a super young age, I started out doing music. And this one night, it was like a youth group night, and this girl who I grew up with was like really good at singing. She's still an amazing singer. And she knew how to harmonize like from the day she was born. And I thought, oh, like I can do that. And one of our teachers was like leading like a little sing-along thing. And she's like, oh yeah, how many of you can like harmonize? And so my friend is over here like, ooh, yeah, ooh. And I was like, I can do that because, you know, my 8-year-old self had like all this confidence. So the teacher was like, oh, that's so good, girl. Like you can do this to my friend. And so she played the song again and I was like, like literally trying to harmonize, and it was so embarrassing because my teacher actually laughed at me. Like she literally laughed at me. And then on the way home, I told my dad what happened, and I was like playing the song and like trying to harmonize, and he was like, yeah, you can't harmonize, sweetie, no. And it was just incredibly embarrassing. Okay, my next one is when I was in middle school. I went to a private Lutheran school, and so they didn't have like contemporary worship, but I did a lot of like solos and like competitions and whatnot, and sometimes they would like add a special into one of their Sunday morning services. And so this one particular day, I had this friend who was an incredible piano player, and so he played piano and I was singing, and I'm pretty sure it was this song like On Eagle's Wings or something. I can't remember the name, but it was like this older, kind of like a hymn, but kind of a contemporary song, and I was like so excited to sing the song because I like had practiced so hard. It sounded so good, and I had teachers who were like really looking forward to hearing me sing, and they were like, Eden, I'm so excited to hear you sing, yeah girl, yes queen, you got this, woo! And then like all my friends were like in the first pew like waiting like to hear me sing, and the song starts and I realize I have the biggest frog in my throat right now and I literally can't even breathe. And guys, I'm not even joking you, the whole like 4 minutes of this song I was like, whoa, whoa, yeah. It was bad. And because like the Lutheran church, they're so awkward about things, at least the one I went to, like I feel like in like the contemporary churches, like if you make a mistake, they're like, oh, it's okay, like haha. But no, as I was like literally making these mistakes, all this whole crowd of people was just like, literally so embarrassing. Okay, so now getting into my older years when I was actually like leading worship and participating in bands, this one is like actually actually embarrassing. Okay, so there I was. I think I was like 16. This was when my dad and I were leading worship together. He was a worship leader at our church for like 17 years, and there was one day that we were leading together, and it was like the song that like wraps up the service, like you hear the message and then the band comes back up. So my dad's on keys and I'm like standing like right next to him with the microphone, like leading the song. And I had like really weird fashion sense when I was in high school. I had this like weird, like, you know those like weird convertible like silk dresses where you can like do like a halter or like a strapless or like a weird sleeve. So I had one of those on that morning. I wore it because I had it like halter style or something. There wasn't a dress code at this church really. So I had like it kind of strapless, and so I wore like a strapless bra. Okay, makes sense, right? So I'm like doing my thing with my outfit, and I don't know what happened, but your girl's bra like fell off. And literally I'm like, okay, and here's the thing too, remind you, silky dress, okay, so like not very protective. So there I am on a platform leading a song, and my bra literally slips, like it just slips down. And so seriously what I do, I'm on the platform and I literally like scooch behind my dad, and I'm like, all while holding a microphone. Embarrassing. I think I pretty much got away with that one because no one came up to me and said anything. My parents didn't say anything. My dad didn't think anything was weird, so I think I pulled it off pretty cool. But internally, it was extremely traumatizing. Okay, this one is good. Okay, so this one is a treat because I actually have footage of this embarrassing moment. I don't know if any of you worship leaders can relate, but lyric people sometimes can be not on point. God love them. But there was this Sunday, and this was only a few years ago. I think I was 21, so it's probably like 2 or 3 years ago. I was leading worship at Living Streams. I was like doing my thing. It was the song Over All I Know by Vertical Church. I was like feeling it, like getting into it, and I butched these lyrics so bad. Roll that clip.
You tell oceans to be still and they're calm.
Alright, right away we see some mistakes. First of all, that ain't the first line of the song. Second of all, lyric person. That's not even the same song. I'm pretty sure that's Jesus We Love You.
You tell oceans to be still and they're calm.
And I don't know the lyrics, so I'm just gonna repeat the same line that I just sang.
Tell sickness have mouth leave and it's gone.
You tell sickness can it hosen it gone.
Sickness, God, I know you are strong.
So then by the end I got it there. It literally reminds me of that clip of that guy.
The arms of angels, they standing side.
Stand inside. Yeah, so that one was pretty bad. But I think I recovered okay. I was like, you know what was funny about that moment is I remember, like, because that last line is in my weakness, God, I know you're strong. And I remember thinking like, yeah, like I literally just butchered that so bad. So in my weakness, God, I hope you still move because that was awful. Okay, so the last one here was really, really recent. This was back in February. You know, all of these, I knew what was happening. In this one, I didn't know I was embarrassing myself. I had no idea. Okay, so this was during our Dwell conference. So this was like a huge conference. I mentioned it in my previous video about leading with strong humility. This was the huge conference where we had like Chris Kilala and like Phil Wickham. They weren't in the room when this happened. Thank God. But it was still in front of a pretty decent sized room of worship leaders from across the nation and the state and some from the world. And this was literally the opener to the weekend. Okay, so I'm like the first voice they hear, not even an MC. Like there was like a video intro, and then we were gonna do this really cool transition into the song that we were gonna do, and it was gonna be this super, super cool moment. We had like a vox coder behind that I recorded that I was gonna like sing to myself with the vox coder thing. It was gonna be this like really epic beginning. And so I have both my in-ears in, and we hired this really good sound guy to like literally make our in-ears sound like the room. So anything that I sang in my ears sounded like echoey and like reverby, and so it sounded like it was in the room and it was live. So if anything cut out on the outside, I wouldn't be able to hear it. The video comes to an end, the click comes in, intro, 2, 3, 4, and it's my turn to sing the song. And it is my moment to shine at the 12 conference. And also, the song is called, it's Spirit Move by Callie Hallingenthal / Bethel. And it's literally such a groovy song. And so you kind of have to like really get into it to make it like really feel it. And so I have both my in-ears in, the click is going. I just think everything is normal and everything is fine. And so I literally come in, feel it in my bones, you're about to move. I feel it in the wind, you're about to ride. Come on guys, welcome to the Well Conference. Everybody, let's stand up and worship at Jesus. What Eden didn't know in that moment is that the sound system had accidentally been shut off. Crickets were chirping. So it was seriously just me screaming into a microphone that was not on to a room that had no idea what was going on. And the worst part about this is not that I was the only person in the room who knew this. Even the whole band knew what was going on. I was literally the only person out of hundreds of people that didn't know what was going on. The worst part is that I didn't find out until after the message. The sound system didn't come back on until like literally a minute and a half into the song. I went through a whole verse and like a whole chorus and probably half the second verse just singing my guts out, and everyone is just like, one of our leaders in the back had to literally yell from the booth, hey, like our sound system's off, like just stand up and worship. Literally worshiping to me, just like screaming in the room. Horrible. So after the message, the person who was speaking at the time like called everyone to like get together in groups in the congregation and pray. And I was sitting by all my friends and they're all like, Eden, good job, like pushing through that. That was awesome. That was like, what an integrity move. Good job. And I was like, what? They're like, you didn't know what happened? I was like, what happened? I was so lost. And they're like, Eden, the sound system was off. Ah! Guys, I literally had no idea. So embarrassing, so awful. Was mortified once I heard that. I mean, I knew something was weird because when I like invited everyone to stand up, they were all like something on their faces was super off. And unfortunately, that was like one of the biggest moments I was excited for in the whole conference, because that was like one of the only times I was leading and like it was just gonna be super cool. And so it was like also half a disappointment. So it was like embarrassing and like sad, but it ended up working out for the better because everyone who came and saw and experienced that, a lot of people came up to me and was like so encouraging. They too had the same response that my friends had, like, no, it was awesome, like you did the right thing, like you just kept going, like maybe it was God that like just kept you tunnel visioned and like didn't allow you to know what was going on anyways. So it ended up being okay. Well, that's it. That's all I have for today. I just really wanted to share some like really funny experiences that I've had in leadership, and I know that everyone goes through these things, so I wanted to make a video that was like super relatable, something that people could laugh at and just find some joy today. I know that I've had a lot of fun looking at my past failure. No, for real, I have. It's fun. But it's always good too. Like, it's good to learn to laugh at yourself. If you can't laugh at yourself, then it's just, you're gonna have a bad time because you're taking yourself too seriously. Like, leading worship and being in leadership of any kind, honestly, learning to laugh at yourself, learning to embrace failure, embrace mistakes is so healthy, because if you can't learn how to do that, you're just gonna be bogged down all the time, feel unworthy or feel like you're not in your calling, or just never really use the blessing that God has given you or the gift that God has given you in the way that that He has for you. I always believe there is extreme power in vulnerability and honesty, and so that's why I bring it to you guys. It's okay to laugh at me. I'll allow it. Guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for joining me today in my corner of the world, in my bedroom today, where we talked about life and we can live it together. Love you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.